Good morning, everybody. I forgot to press the button. I
Morning,
have
guys.
just delivered what was probably the best Bitcoin and market overview that's been known to man. I mean, this thing was surgical beyond belief. Maurizio said to me, "Do you want my job, Ian?" And I said, "Well, I'm a bit busy, Maurizio, but no, actually, I was just moaning at him because it's Monday morning and it's early."
I know, and things, they move around. Let's see where we at. So today is the 1st of June, which is good. End of month has finished. I
Yeah.
was waiting to see what was the reaction of end of month, but I think we're doing okay in some of the trades that we have done. So I'm happy with some of the positioning that we've done. We can go through a bunch of stuff today. This interesting stuff that came out over the weekend. We still have the fucking Trump thing. One day we have a deal, the next day we don't. So that could fuck, yeah, that could fuck things up a little bit. Like at least give us more volatility. Uh, but yeah, I don't have much for you guys today, but I have interesting stuff to watch over the week.
Because we're sat right on that old I think it's 2024 all-time high at the moment. I got so many windows open I could barely even remember. Here we are. Yeah, let me share my screen for 1 second.
Sure.
Mm. Here we are. So I drew that was my entire weekend. I drew a couple of lines on the charts and then yeah, I kind of like it when you put these lines on the charts and you got some historical numbers,
Mm-hmm.
you can start to see things a bit more clearly. I mean, if we take that as a double bottom and you get out one of those Fibonacci tools and you do a one-to-one measured movement, that comes out at pretty much 82,500, which is so interesting. Like
Mm-hmm.
so interesting how that works out, right? Because as I've put there, it's a triple confluence ceiling. There's also there should be a line down here showing that it's respected the uptrend as well. But now we've rejected from there, we've come
Mm-hmm.
back down to another very significant number, that
Mm-hmm.
2024 all-time high. And then this kind of wiggly here happened at the 2021 all-time high. So I haven't looked under the hood with the CVD and the stuff and everything like here, but to me, this week is the reaction that we have with this old all-time high.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not thinking, oh, we're gonna go down, we're gonna go up. I just want to see this week, what do we do at this 73? There
Yep.
are various EMAs and stuff that we can put on and we can kind of add more information to it, which I'm sure you'll do at the moment, but this is critical. I mean, this reaction here, fair enough. We had just had downside all the way, and we
Mm-hmm.
needed some kind of relief. And we got that. We got that relief. And it was around here that I was saying, yeah, yeah, we're not going to go much higher. I don't think, and we rallied to there and now we're coming back. So we start losing these levels. This is such a big area, isn't it? There's so much
Yeah,
there.
that is a 60 area. Still a
Yeah,
chance. It's still a chance, but the way that the market is playing, yeah, I'll give you my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Like,
yeah.
or before we start going,
Mm.
or rambling about things, what do you guys think? Where you guys at, in terms of crypto today, or Bitcoin, or the whole crypto thing? Don't be shy before I start doing rambles.
Hello,
Um,
Donna.
I know, Jim. Feels that way. So just give some days that I have no fucking yeah. I can just don't think anymore, man. All right, let's. So where you guys at? Do you think this is it. Is we ready to push up? Oh, this is it. This is the pushed up, and then now we're going down, or we're going to range. Essentially, those are the three options if
Mm.
you put it from that perspective. So what do you guys think?
I think that a lot of people are going to get trapped because this is a bear market year, and we've only retraced a fraction. We've retraced maybe 40%
Okay,
from the all-time high. So I think we're about 60% through the bear market. So I think all of this right now, it's all a ruse. It's all to get people to think that we're going to the moon, but we ain't.
fair enough. Good. Anyone else? 33. Yeah. Okay.
This thing with the S&P, Maurizio, right? I
Yes.
understand that the Trump government put this thing into place that like every child born gets $2,000 invested in the S&P and it's backdated by a year as well, and then they can't touch it for 18 years. So they've artificially pumped and
Pumping.
continue to pump the S&P with every
Hmm.
birth that happens in America. So to
Yeah,
me, that S&P now is just an illusion.
it is, but it's the base of the economy. It's not an illusion per se, because if that's think about it from the perspective of what the government is doing, is the same thing that crypto is doing as burning tokens. Okay, when you take your supply and burn tokens, right? You're making the supply, like you're making the supply, or you buybacks, the buyback programs of crypto companies, in where they take the profits and they keep buying their own token, right? So that pushes the price up in terms of offer and demand, right? That's the reason why the S&P 500, even though with all the news with the oil and all the sort of stuff, is stable, right?
Mhm.
If that has continuation, I will say that it will keep doing the same way. You know what I mean? I think it's like a buyback program, man. Like it's
Mhm.
just fucking it is. You know what I mean? I think about it from that perspective, right? So, and everybody wants to show the market and all-time highs, and that's reasonable. But then a lot of keep like there's two things that fuel the market when things are going up. People shorting, right? Because it's just, people shorting, and then uh, you know, buying volume, liquidate those shorts, and then boom, market keeps moving up. It's a sort of self prophecy. You know what I mean? Like it keeps going, right? At some point, if you short the market, you're gonna make it. That's for sure. At some point. At which point, have no fucking clue. You know what I mean? That's the main problem, right? Of shorting when the market is all-time highs. So there's a lot of things that the S&P 500 are sustained. So we have that. On top of that, we have companies, uh, AI companies specifically, pumping the profits of the S&P 500. You have Google, you have Amazon, you have all these big ones. Then you're gonna have new ones coming through, right? You're gonna have a SpaceX IPO. We have fucking OpenAI IPO as well. We did talk about it, and that's gonna fuel the market as well. So that they all jump into that basket of the S&P 500, and they all keep fueling it. So I even though you feel awkward buying at all-time highs, you know what I mean? It's sustainable. You
Mhm.
can actually see the mechanics be behind the scenes to make it sustainable. So that's the thing that I don't want to show, in my view. Do I want to buy? No, I feel fucking awkward buying that at all-time highs, right? That's why, the best bet for an S&P 500 strategy is buy a DCA. Same thing as, you just buy the fucking S&P 500, it's never going to go up. So that's so it's interesting what he's doing with that perspective. Yes, he's inflating that, but it's just a mechanism to perpetuate the gains of the S&P 500. And thus, if you, and this is just me fucking making
Mhm.
my own
Oh,
thoughts.
don't worry
This
about
is not
it.
sustained. This is not like I don't have any data. This is just what I think. Okay,
Holly Market Insider right there.
there you go. So that's you know what I mean. Like that's how I see it. So I don't. You know what I mean? Like it's a very good move. Because the S&P 500 is the reflection of the economy across the world. Think about it from that perspective. If the S&P 500 goes down, everything goes down. Companies goes down. All the markets have a ripple effect. Across the world. Crypto goes down. Risk asset goes down. As long you sustain that economy, right? Then is that a good economy or not? No, it's just a reflection of the market. But that doesn't mean that the economy is actually good in the US. You know what I mean? Like that's a different kettle of fish.
Mhm.
But from the market perspective, what investors see is that profits keeps going up, all-time highs, it's not going down. People want to short, then it fuels the market. You know what I mean? That's kind of
Mm.
my thinking of that. So that's a bold move, man. Very, you know what I mean? Like it is a really smart move in order to maintain prices. How long that's going to go? Do they need to print money? Is that going to affect inflation? All that sort of shit that I don't know. Like to be honest, because I'm not an economist. Uh, I'm just someone that looks at the chart. That's another question. You know what I mean? Like that the implications of that in other aspects of the economy. What's going to be? So who is going to win? The S&P 500 or the economy in that perspective? And at some point, right? Maybe he's gonna lose. Maybe he won't. That's where I'm at with that thing. You know what I mean? And that's why the fucking S&P 500 keeps going up, and that's why nothing has keep dropping because of it, right? So it's a tough, yeah. It's an interesting game, because obviously you there's no historical data to say, oh yeah, that happened in 2024, and yeah, this is just what happened live, right? And 1 year after, you're gonna see people, of course, the market blew up because blah 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 blah. If that happens, right? But this is the trick of markets, right? And that's why
Mhm.
it's not that simple. It's not as simple.
So, speaking of that, did you know that some people consider information to have a physical presence and information to be the fourth dimension? I just thought I'd drop
What
that in and then turn the camera
what
on.
what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
The thoughts in your head are actually
Yes.
physical.
Oh yeah. Well, do you wanna become metaphysical now? I can give you a full thing about metaphysics, man, right now, right? Like we can. That's a different thing, anyway. But yeah. Anyway,
Uh,
let's not go to like that's talking about
no,
religion,
no.
politics, and let's not go there. Otherwise, you're gonna keep me talking here whole
I'm
the
trying to
whole day,
tap
man.
into that. I watched this video yesterday about the fifth dimension and information, so I thought, right, this is the this. Anyway, I'll drop a link to it whilst you're talking. All right.
Fair enough, fair enough. That's a rabbit hole. Anyway, all right, let's get cracking. So let me show you where I'm at, and there's a few things interesting happening. So I think that we could definitely capitalize on those. Let's start with Bitcoin, right? Where we at? Okay, these were our rumbles from last week. Funny enough, sort of played out in the way as a short. I didn't want to short it. There's a few things happening that I don't. But it would have been a really good short. So if we start from the weekly, right? Let's start from the weekly. So the weekly, right, is playing out that structure, that bearish structure, played out right here, right now. We are. Let me just delete all those drawings from last week. Okay, perfect. So from the weekly perspective, right? Ian point out a really good level, and that was the level that I was talking last week. The 73, 74, give it a take. What I want to see, right, to to sort of start thinking that this is going to at least go to 82, which is our next level to break in order to break that structure towards the upper highs, right? So because we're still in a bearish condition from the weekly perspective, this is basically daily uptrend. So so we are in a different confluence of trends, right? Bearish on weekly, bullish on daily, right? So when all trends align across time frames, especially weekly and daily, that's when that's when the big push will come through across the board, right? So Todd, yeah, I know, man. You spoke some of that stuff before. Yeah, you're right. Anyway, so coming back up, right? So that's basically the triggers that I want to wait. So here it is risky to go long. Why? Because this could keep going from a structure. The next structure to break, the big structure to break is the 60,000 level, right? That's one possibility, right? We have another possibility that we bounce here and then it's going to be at least, right? If we bounce here, at least we might take these highs right there. Now, at those highs are going to have continuation, or at those highs are going to give us either a range or a bounce to either direction. Those are the three options that I have that we have from the weekly perspective. Okay. So in terms of probabilities, where we at? Like, tell me where you guys are in terms of the three probabilities that we have. So option one, we keep going down. Option two, we bounce here and keep moving upwards. Option three, we bounce and we range. Okay, so we're talking about range. It could be a range. Yes, definitely. So those are the three possibilities. Do we know now what's like in terms of what is the biggest possibility right now? Like, if you ask me without any looking at more evidence, probably this one, right? We keep going down. But let me go over the CVD and that will highlight. Let me just bring this down to daily, right? Daily paints a different picture. So remember that we have the weekly. So in order for this to play out, it's going to take weeks. Okay. So this is a weak vision of what we're trying to read of the market. So the downside of the week is if you look at the markets every day, this vision is going to get blurry every single day because market moves different directions, right? But if you only look at this from the weekly perspective, let's say you did this analysis and then you close your computer, you never watch crypto again, and then next week comes, then it's kind of a cleaner version of it, right? So those are the things. So now we drop in daily, right? Now daily, let me just make this bigger. Okay. Daily brings sort of like a different picture. So from the daily perspective, the low is right here. You know, we range across here. We broke range on the 21st of April, give or take. Well, not really. This one was the one that actually cleared the range. That was the 1st of May, right? And then we range, and then we try to break that and bang. Okay. So within this period, there is a lot of alts that actually went crazy. We took some good trades on there. So why I focus on Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin obviously drives the thing. If Bitcoin moves to the upside, alts are going to follow, and especially the ones that has narrative. Okay, so those are the ones that I'll be focusing on today. So so from this perspective, where we at, like this level is holding, like from the daily perspective, you can actually see that this level seems to hold. This is the big push, right? The daily, the 13th of April. This is the big push that actually drove this sort of call it move. So there's a lot of interesting things here. Either this level holds, or this level is very important, right? All right, so how we can actually see more evidence if this level is going to hold. So we're going to our CVD, okay? So where we are with CVD, this is what I'm saying. I'm conflicted in a way, but I'm more bullish than bearish. Here's why. Okay, so if we this is the 30 minutes, of course. You can actually see CVD coming through and accumulating. Of course, I'm making everything smaller just to see, just you know what I mean, just to see how is it being accumulated, right? One thing that I don't like is you see all this accumulation, but the market hasn't been able to move up. So what that means is there is a lot of shorts opening here. There's not like let me put it this way. Think about it from the perspective that CVD is the one that holds the price on a big scale because this is CVD. Like people buying a spot, IBIT, ETFs, all that sort of stuff actually goes into this bucket. But then there's going to be a lot of people shorting at some levels, right? And the market goes into this sort of fight between who is going to win, either the bulls or the bears, right? So if it is more volume than the bears, then obviously the market starts going up. So it's tempting for me to go long, right? And because I'm seeing that the CVD comes through, so I'm bullish because of that, right? I'm looking at that level and I see, that's interesting. It's holding. Now the only thing that I don't like, obviously, all this stuff is being over the weekend, so it hasn't been enough liquidity over the weekend. We do have news about Trump. You know, what is it? The conflict, is that going to be resolved or not? Yada yada. So this is going to be significant, right? In terms of if this holds, let's say that we get something like this. All right. And this sustains probably like this. This could be a really great setup. Maybe I will miss it, maybe I will not, but this is one of those setups that it could be very, very juicy. Why? Because if CVD keeps moving up, market moves down, is going to liquidate all these longs. It's going to create liquidity, but then market push ups and off you go. It gathers all the liquidity that it needs to actually keeps moving towards the upside. Until when? Until who knows? Until we actually start seeing CVD selling, right? So this is one setup that I'm looking. Do I want to enter right now? Yeah, this is, even though we do have a lot of CVD coming through, I'm not seeing the market moves accordingly. So we might see that, we might. So it's a possibility. Another one is out of these highs here, you start seeing liquidations on shorts, right? And you're going to see open interest going low because obviously we have shorts being liquidated. Then that could be a really good setup right there, waiting. If this happens, then I'm long. That's it. And I'm gonna be adding onto positions. So that's kind of my game plan for today and tomorrow. This week, let's see what happens. Obviously, today is the 1st of June. We still have the US on May kind of deal. So they still have time to close positions before the end of the month. So that's basically things that I'm just being aware of. Okay, we're gonna have also data, CPI, FOMC, a lot of shit this week. So I'll be watching that closely. But from the price perspective, this is basically what I'm seeing. Okay, everything else looks the same, right? Ethereum looks the same, Solana looks the same, BNB looks the same. Oh no, I didn't watch this one. This is interesting. Okay. So this is BNB. It broke yesterday range. Okay. That's going in my watch list. Very interesting. Okay. It looked, yeah, it look everything the same on Friday. This is interesting. Okay. So now we have something to watch. Okay. There you go. So where we at with BNB? BNB, huge push yesterday. Very interesting. Now I need to do some more research on it. Let's have a look. Let me have a look. BNB here. Obviously, this is not very accurate, but it just gives me an idea. Let's have a look. All right. Huge move. It looks like a lot of liquidations come through, but not enough CVD to sustain it. So yeah, not sure about that move, but that was an interesting move. 17%. All right, cool. Keep an eye on it. All right, let's have a look at IBIT. So IBIT is still trading under the gap of under this gap. So I do want to see that gap being filled for continuation to the upside. So something that I want to see as well. In terms of S&P 500, we were just talking at S&P 500. Look at this thing. Remember, we drew these lines a while back in terms of price being sustained and see where the market is at, right? So that's why I don't feel like shorting is a great option at the moment. Because so there's two catalysts that on the verge of being resolved, right? The Iran conflict, and if it's probably when the market resolves, when the Iran when the conflict resolves, maybe that's the time to short, against the news, like trade. But until then, I'm still apprehensive. It's a lot of things coming into the market to make it very strong. Like I say, the SpaceX IPO, and so this is going to be sustained for I don't know for how long. We're just gonna have to assess every single day, and that's the way it is. If I have the root, the Russell, right? This is another risk metric in a way, right? So obviously the Russell is just the more risky assets of the S&P, not the whole stock market. Still sustained, right? So it's not, and also the VIX is quite low. So this is interesting, right? So from any perspective, I don't see the S&P 500 falling. With that being said, if there is more assets in crypto needs to catch up at some point, right? And it's not catching up. So I'm aiming towards, right, that catch-up game, right? I'm leaning towards the bullish side of things, right? I'm leaning towards at least towards this area here. Take some profits, you take some longs, and then if it's range, so be it. If it keeps going, then happy days, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen at this level. We don't know if people are going to sell heavily. We don't know, but what we know is that it looks like people are buying at this level here. I'm still off because I beat this hasn't been able to clear this gap. So yeah, but I'm bullish, right? I can see that we could definitely bounce right there. So that's basically where I'm at with Bitcoin. So in terms of alts that I'm watching, so Ondo, all right, I haven't added more, but Ondo now looks like it's resting here. We took some profit around here. I wanna add more. Not sure if today is gonna be the best day to add, but maybe, right? Tau, let's talk about Tau. Tau almost stops me out. It didn't. I'm still holding this extra trade that I did. We're still holding this big win. So far on that one. The interesting one that I do want to add more is Worldcoin. So Worldcoin has been performing really well, and this is on the verge of there is a lot of stuff happening with OpenAI, And you know, thesis seems to be correct, the one that I'm playing, and that's the thesis that I'm playing. And yeah, OpenAI is going to do an IPO, and then this coin being Sam Altman's coin, maybe at least we're going to get this price here, which is prior, like this is prior October 11th. So we do have all that gap to fill in terms of uh, we took some profit already, but I want to add more, right? When I'm going to add more, I just want to wait until see the Bitcoin reacts. We can add more, probably at higher prices. That's not a problem. We're still holding half of this one, so that one is the one that I'm really interested. Now, let's talk about LEET. Okay, so LEET is actually very volatile. Okay, so if you are in this trade, we are in profit now. We were on the water for a couple of days, but I think I'm going to add more with sort of like smaller risk. And the reason why, there is some news, obviously, last week. I think I did talk about it. It's right here. Yeah, this one. See this in the chat. Donna, WorldCoin and OpenAI, they're not really connected in a way. WorldCoin is a coin that Sam Altman created to do identity for humans. I don't know. And they created these sort of cameras that they place in different parts of the world, and you go and scan your iris, and it's like a proof that you're human. Okay, very bold proposition. Okay. Yes. But is the only coin that Sam Altman sort of endorsed in a way, and Sam Altman's being sort of directly connected with OpenAI. That's the thesis behind it. Is that right or wrong? You know what I mean? But then that's kind of what the narratives that crypto uses, right? Like, oh, this is going to do because of that, and being the fact that OpenAI is gaining some traction in the markets and things. That's the reason why we went on long on that, right? I could definitely see the narrative catching up pretty fast if IPO comes along, all this sort of stuff. Obviously, now we trade without any risk. So the risk was initially the first trade. We took profits, moved the stop loss to break even. Whatever happens, I don't care. But I do want to add more. So far, I keep liking it, the structure, the price, the way that the price is handling. So far, so good. Let me send you guys this because, all right, this is the CFTC of encrypted per dollar with first approval. Is going to allow DeFi to do the tokenized things. The one that I see the most the one that is actually benefit the most out of this thing is going to be LEET. Okay, this one. Okay, so obviously Hype is going to keep going. Hype is now the leader on these things. But what we're trying to catch up is which ones are the ones that maybe we could have some upside, right? Still good products, still things that are doing, because Hype, there's going to be competitors, right? So Hype, and I keep seeing LEET as the main competitor of Hype, right? So that's basically open up the opportunity to have all this upside, right? So LEET is actually, they filed for for approval as well to actually do the tokenized assets and all this sort of stuff. So that could catch up really fast as well. We are positioning already. We do have some spot holdings. We bought around here, and then we bought more here, and then we bought more here. But I do like to add into our leverage position here. So this one is the one that I'm focusing this week. It's been volatile because it went up, went down. So make sure that you understand how to size properly. That's why I put a wide stop loss. Can I see it happening this week? Well, that depends on what Bitcoin decides to do this week, but I'm still liking this one a lot. So Besides that, those are the main ones. All the stuff that I'm watching, the same. I'm watching the Sky. Sky is the old. I remember. Sky is the new rebrand of. Really forgot. Let me Google it.
I'm going to finish up in about 5 minutes, Maurizio, if that's okay with you.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's fine. Maker. Okay, Sky is the maker. So Maker is a big DAO, and I'm kind of start to see a little bit more volume pushing through. So I kind of like this one. Ton, I'm still following Ton. That was the plan. I decided not to enter, but now it's looking that it's holding. So Ton could be an interesting one. Monad, I'm still looking to enter on Monad, but I'm not seeing a lot of influx. Nia looks pretty good. Nia looks like an interesting proposition as well. So those are kind of the ones that I'm watching, and obviously Arrow. I'm still watching Arrow. Um, so those are my top, the ones that I'm watching this week. So yeah. So I think that's it, unless you guys have any other questions. Yeah, something like that. That's why the prices hasn't pushed up. But the technology, everything is there still. Same thing that happened with SEC, Donna. So at some point, those news get absorbed by you know seeing that through. So yeah. Yeah, Jim, I know. That looks like it could be the case. Yeah, three-sided coin. So yeah. But you can play it out yeah, still that's why size, we are against trend. Have in mind, we're gonna size bigger when everything comes back to the upside trend, right? And we're just catching some movements. That's basically what we're doing. We're catching those outliers to catch up some upside. You know what I mean? Like, because if we catch momentum, price is never gonna come back to the prices that we are at the moment. If we don't, then of course we're gonna have better prices. But this is trading, man. Like, you know what I mean? That's why you start getting positioning, and more than likely, even though if you risk a little and market keeps moving up, you're gonna capitalize heavily on that decision of making a little bit now. And if you lose, then you lose a little. And then you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the risk asset, the risk thinking that you should be thinking at this particular time. If the SAP pulls back and BTC2, when all odds take the initiative, yes, definitely. Yeah, Miles, definitely. The question is uh, when the SAP is going to pull back, right? Is going to pull back right now, or is going to pull back in about a week's time when it's actually up 10%, and then all alts actually rise back. That's the trick, right? But yeah, if SAP pulls back, there's a highly chance that BTC does the same thing. And alts, depends of the alts. Not all alts are going to hit the chin. Those are the alts that we shouldn't be focusing for the next run. So stuff like Tau, Ondo, things that don't actually fall as much. Everything's gonna fall. Now the trigger is which ones are the ones that fall in the list to get position for the next up. Yeah, hype is hype, man. Fucking A, man. I'm still, yeah, hype. Hype is a beast, man. And I think he's going to keep going up. Yeah, it could be yeah. I'm happy with all the stuff that we have on hype. I wish I'd added more. It's one of those things you always wish that you added more. You can wish that you bought Bitcoin at $1 and you didn't. And same shit, man. So but hype is hype, man. Now, hype. Keep an eye on the KNTQ. That could be a very interesting hype. Uh, gateway. You know what I mean? Like that token could be an interesting one as well. So yeah.
I got some research to do. There was an article I got the other day, which I haven't read yet, about USDC, right?
Yeah.
And about it's about the USDC rails and the infrastructure. I fucking shouldn't have even opened this can of worms. I can barely remember what it is. I tell you, since I stopped smoking weed, I can't remember nothing. I need that THC to activate my brain. But yeah, no, I dig that article out. It was kind of it was really interesting. Yeah, so interesting. I can't remember nothing. So on that point of utter confusion, shall we call it a day?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think let me just answer this Salvador. KNTQ in Hyperliquid. You go and search it, and it's only on the spot. There's no perps yet. So that's where the opportunity lies. So that's a spot play. I did talk about it in the last week. So you go and watch last week call. All the insights are right there. Okay.
Yeah, I gotta find this I gotta find this thing. Uh no, I'll have to post it later. All right. Thanks everybody.
All right, guys. Have a good day. Bye
Ta-da.
bye.